Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This is going to be another movie review for you guys, and this movie we're reviewing, I really wanted to watch a movie at the time. I didn't really know what I wanted to watch. I knew I didn't want to watch a Christmas movie. I knew I didn't want to watch a bad movie. I knew I wanted to watch a good movie. So I randomly came across this movie. I knew nothing about it. And I decided, you know what, I'm going to start watching this. I heard many things about it. I saw it in people's letterbox, top 10 lists and things like that. And I heard it's a very good movie, and that movie is Stretch. Now, I knew nothing about Stretch. Nothing about Stretch. I didn't know the casting. I didn't know who was in it. I didn't know anything about the plot. I didn't see a single trailer or anything for this movie. And I think that's really good because I went to this movie completely blind. All I knew is that people are saying it was a good movie and it has mixed reviews. That's all I knew about this movie. I knew nothing about it pretty much. So I decided to check out Stretch, and what did I think of Stretch? I really love this movie. I don't think this is like one of the best movies of the year. This is really just a fun movie in my opinion. I really enjoyed it. I like the message that I like what it's trying to say. I liked a lot of things about the movie. And let's get to the plot of Stretch. Now, the plot of Stretch, I think, is a very good plot. I definitely really like it. The other thing about this movie that I find very interesting is that this movie was actually originally supposed to come out in theaters on March 21st. But for whatever reason, Universal scrapped the idea and decided to put it to direct-to-DVD, which I'm wondering if they're going to do with The Interview. I'm really wondering if they're going to do that. Now, this is Sony, this Universal, but you never know. But I can see why they decided to put it on DVD, because this movie is pretty weird, okay? But the plot is actually not weird. The plot is actually one of my favorite parts and favorite things about this movie, and probably one of the things that got me most intrigued for this movie. Sorry guys, my lighting is terrible, so I'm just turning off the light. But it's probably one of the things that got me so intrigued about this movie. Basically, the plot of this movie is we focus on this man, Kevin, or as he likes to be called, Stretch. He is a man who pretty much he doesn't care about his life. He is losing everything he cares about pretty much, and it's very sad to see. There was this girl, Candace, who ended up basically changing his life. I mean, for a while, they were really in love and everything. He thought she was going to be the love of his life. But he proposed to her, and she broke it off. And after that, things really started to get bad for him. And it was getting better for him. I mean, he had really bad addictions to cocaine and gambling. And it started to get worse and worse. He ended up, he tried to be an actor in Los Angeles. And he ended up failing as that. He now works as a limo driver in LA. And he has quit gambling, but basically he retains a $600,000 debt to Ineko, who demands the debt be paid by midnight. And at the same time, he's been hallucinating a ghost of another failed actor and limo driver named Carl, who committed suicide in front of a customer, played by Ed Helms. And so he definitely has had a lot of shit go down in his life, and his life is pretty much just, it's terrible life. He's not having a good life at all. However, one day, his boss, Nazreem, calls him to his office and tells him that there's this chief competitor and all his name is the Jovi. But he has been stealing their clients, and unless they can steal clients away from the Jovi, Nazreem will be forced to fold his business. So basically, Stretch decides to set up an online, Stretch decided to find out what's going on here, stop the Jovi, and basically try to get his life back on track. And that's basically the plot of Stretch, which I think is a very good plot, and I definitely really like the plot of the movie. Now, the thing I love about this movie, though, is that it's really just a fun movie, but that doesn't mean the acting is not very good, because it is actually very, very good acting, which I was surprised about, because, again, we have to remember, this movie was shut down by Universal Pictures. They didn't want to make this, they didn't want to release in theaters, but the acting in this movie is absolutely fantastic. Patrick Wilson as Stretch probably gives the best performance I've ever seen from him. I think his performance in this was amazing. Not amazing, but he did a very good job in this movie. I really cared about his character a lot. I wanted him to have a good life. I wanted him to get his life back on track, and I really wanted him to achieve that goal, and I think he played that character very, very well. I mean, we really cared about his character. I personally really care about his character. I thought he portrayed that character really well. And I thought overall his character was really cool to see. Also, he narrates the movie, and it's very funny. And when there were many times where he's narrating the movie, I was cracking up at a lot of the stuff he was saying. I mean, he introduces all the characters through his point of view, so you really see all the characters in his point of view. And I mean, the thing I love is that the narration really sets the tone for the movie, and I thought he did a great job with that. He was great. Chris Pine in the movie, I don't want to spoil his character. His character is Karos and Karos. The second that Karos came on to the screen, he stole the show. Okay, Chris Pine stole every scene that he was in. He was hilarious in this movie. I don't want to give away what happens with his character. I'm not talking spoilers to this movie, but I don't want to give away what happens to his character. I thought his character was very, very funny, though. I definitely really liked his character. I like the buying between him and Stretch. A lot of things that Karos does gets Stretch to sort of, he opens up to Stretch a little bit, and he actually makes Stretch, maybe think about the world differently, and I like Chris Pine's character overall. I thought he was really good. Brooklyn Decker as Candace, I like the way their relation was portrayed because, I mean, the thing I like about this movie is it is somewhat realistic because Stretch does end up seeing Candace many times throughout this movie. And you can see that she really does feel bad that she broke up with him. I mean, she wants to be together with him, but he's kind of just doesn't know what's going to happen. I mean, she kind of broke his heart and everything, so you can see that, she definitely feels bad and everything, but she doesn't want to get back into that relationship and everything, and he doesn't want to either. So I like the way he portrayed that. It was very interesting to see them portray that, and I thought that was very well done. Ed Helms plays Carl, who, as I said, is the guy that died, who was a very good friend of Stretch, was also a limo driver who killed himself. Hilarious in the movie. Every time he comes on the screen, he is giving Stretch very funny advice. I thought he was very funny, and Ed Helms did a very good job. Jessica Alba plays Charlie, who is this girl that is helping Stretch set up a blind date because Stretch wants to go on a blind date. And I thought her character was very funny. There's actually a hilarious twist with her character at the end of the movie that I thought was very funny, but the chemistry between her and Stretch was very well done, and I thought their chemistry was really good. Now, the other thing I'll talk about this movie is the cameos in this movie. Oh my god, the cameos in this movie are probably the funniest part of this movie. Ray Liotta, David Hasselhoff, and Norman Reedus all have cameos in this movie, and they're absolutely hilarious, and I thought they were all portrayed very, very funny, and they all really made me laugh, especially Ray Liotta's. I thought his was very, very funny. I definitely really enjoyed that. And I can see why Universal didn't really want to make this movie. One, because of how weird Karos' character is, and when I say Karos' character is weird, he is weird. Like, he is introduced in the movie from falling, like, skydiving naked. That's how he's introduced. He skydives naked onto Stretch's windshield. When his character first appeared, I'm like, I don't really know about him, but I grew to love his character, and I think the movie did that very well. But I can understand why Universal didn't really want to release in theaters. It's sort of more of an, I think it should have been an indie release, personally. A lot of times, the movie really does feel like an indie movie. I mean, it's not a full action movie or anything. As I said, it's really just a fun movie. The directing by Joe Carnahan I thought was good. Nothing amazing with the directing. Good directing, though, overall. The screenplay was also very good. He did the screenplay. The cinematography I thought was very good. I definitely really enjoyed the cinematography of this movie. It was actually really good cinematography. The effects were really good. And for a movie that's not really meant to be taken that seriously, the effects were really good in this movie. I was surprised by how good the action sequences were. There aren't too many action sequences, but there's some really good car chases in this movie. There's some really good heist sequences in this movie, and I thought that all those sequences were done very well in the cinematography, and I was surprised by how good it was. The editing is great too. This movie really went by like that. I thought the editing was perfect, and I really had no issues with the editing at all. I thought the editing was very, very good in my opinion. And I think that's really all I want to say about Stretch overall, guys. I really enjoyed this movie. I think that you definitely should check it out. I don't think, now, I do have one problem with this movie, and that is that sometimes the movie slowed down a little. Now, it's not that much of a problem, but my only problem is when the movie tried to get serious, I wasn't as into it. I liked it more as a fun movie. I understood the movie wanted to get a little bit serious, but when it didn't ever get too serious. But when it tried to get serious, I wasn't as into it as I wanted to be. And it's not that it's the movie's fault. I think it's just that I liked more the fun tone of this movie, and I didn't really want them to do anything that serious with it. It didn't get too serious, but the second half of the movie, it did get pretty serious. And I didn't really like the way the ending was, like with the villains and everything. I didn't feel the villains in this movie were that menacing. I didn't feel that Jovi was very menacing. I didn't feel I didn't really feel any of the characters were that menacing, really. I really didn't. I didn't talk about the Jovi and all of them because they're not as important in my opinion. Plus they're not listed on here, so because there are twists to their characters that I don't want to give away. But I thought the villains weren't that menacing. I thought the conclusion to this movie was kind of silly. The ending I really liked. The thing with the blind date, that twist I thought was very funny. But the way the villains end up, basically getting arrested and everything, I didn't think that was a very satisfying ending. I don't know, there was something about that I wasn't satisfied with, and I was like, this just feels too hackney. It feels like something I've seen before. I didn't feel anything else out of the movie, and the movie seemed like it was trying to be realistic, and then that happened. I was just like, yeah, that I lost some stuff in the movie because of that. Also, I forgot to say, James Badge Dale in the movie, also very good. I love that he, was joking around with Stretch a lot about how there's this great scene where Stretch, is basically, pretending to be Ray Liotta, and he has Ray Liotta's ID, and he didn't realize it was a real ID. I thought that was really funny, and I definitely really enjoyed that scene. That hilarious scene. Also, the thing I must say is everyone in this movie has very good comedic timing, and that's something that I definitely really enjoyed, and something I didn't expect. I didn't expect the movie to be as funny as it was. I didn't expect to like the movie as much as I did because it was a direct-to-DVD movie. There aren't usually a lot of really good ones, but this happens to be a very good one. I would recommend definitely checking it out. You can watch it on Netflix for free, and that's how I watched it. And that's basically my review of Stretch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of this movie. Overall, guys, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't love it. I thought it was just a fun movie. But if you guys can check it out, I definitely would recommend checking it out. It's not amazing, but it is a very fun movie. And my next review will be for a Christmas movie review, which I am so excited to review because it is probably the most nostalgic Christmas movie that we can, out of any, the most nostalgic Christmas movie we can get is the next review, and you guys will see what it is, but I'll see you guys in my next video. Okay, bye.